What does it take to become a basketball legend? Is it the trophies, the records, or something deeper? For Larry Bird, it was all of that, and more. From a small-town kid in Indiana to one of the greatest NBA players of all time, Bird's story is packed with jaw-dropping moments that defined his career and cemented his legacy. Today, we're counting down Larry Bird's top 10 moments that made him a legend. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll see why he's still talked about decades after his retirement. Let's get started. At number 10, we have to go back to the beginning, Larry Bird's college days at Indiana State. This is where he first showed the world what he was made of. In 1979, Bird led his team to the NCAA championship game against Magic Johnson's Michigan State. It was the most-watched college basketball game in history at the time. Even though Indiana State lost, Bird's performance was unforgettable. He scored 19 points, grabbed 13 rebounds, and proved he could compete with the best. This was the moment the basketball world started paying attention. Now let's jump to number 9, Bird's rookie season with the Boston Celtics. In 1979, Bird joined the Celtics and immediately turned the team around. They went from winning just 29 games the previous season to 61 games with Bird on the court. He averaged 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game, earning the Rookie of the Year award. It was clear, Larry Bird wasn't just a player, he was a game changer. At number 8, we have to talk about his rivalry with Magic Johnson. This wasn't just a rivalry, it was a cultural phenomenon. Bird and Magic faced off in the 1984 NBA Finals, and it was one of the most intense series in basketball history. Bird led the Celtics to victory, averaging 27 points and 14 rebounds in the series. Their rivalry didn't just define their careers, it saved the NBA, bringing in millions of fans and making basketball must-watch TV. Number 7 takes us to 1984, when Bird won his first MVP award. This wasn't just any MVP season, it was historic. Bird became the first forward in NBA history to lead the league in free throw percentage, shooting an incredible 88.8%. He also averaged 24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.6 assists per game. This was the year Bird proved he wasn't just a great player. He was one of the most complete players the game had ever seen. Now, let's talk about number 6, the 1986 NBA Finals. This was Bird at his absolute peak. He led the Celtics to their 16th championship, averaging 24 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 9.5 assists in the series. But the most iconic moment came in Game 6, when Bird scored 29 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, and dished out 12 assists, securing the Kisamaim title. It was a performance for the ages, and it solidified Bird as one of the all-time greats. At number 5, we have to mention his three-point shooting. Bird wasn't just a scorer, he was a sharpshooter. In the first-ever NBA three-point contest in 1986, Bird walked into the locker room before the event and said, "Who's coming in second?" He then went out and won the contest, 3 years in a row. His confidence and skill from beyond the arc were unmatched, and it changed the way people thought about the three-point shot. Number 4 brings us to one of the most clutch moments in NBA history. In 1987, during a game against the Washington Bullets, Bird scored 16 points in the final 4 minutes to lead the Celtics to a comeback win. But here's the kicker. After the game, Bird said he was saving his energy for the fourth quarter because he knew he could take over when it mattered most. That's the kind of confidence and skill that made Bird a legend. Now let's move to number 3, Bird's 60-point game against the Atlanta Hawks in 1985. This wasn't just a scoring explosion. It was a masterclass in basketball. Bird shot 22 of 36 from the field and 15 of 16 from the free throw line. He also grabbed 7 rebounds and dished out 3 assists. It was one of the greatest individual performances in NBA history, and it showed just how unstoppable Bird could be. At number 2, we have to talk about his 3 MVP awards. Bird won the MVP in 1984, 1985, and 1986, joining an elite group of players to win 3 in a row. During this stretch, he averaged 26.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.7 assists per game. He was the heart and soul of the Celtics, and his dominance during this era is still talked about today. Finally, at number 1, we have to go back to the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. In Game 5, with the series tied 2-2, Bird made one of the most iconic plays in NBA history. With just seconds left on the clock, Bird stole an inbound pass from Isaiah Thomas and passed it to Dennis Johnson for the game-winning layup. The Celtics went on to win the series, and Bird's clutch play became the stuff of legend. It wasn't just a moment, it was the defining moment of his career. So there you have it, Larry Bird's top 10 moments that made him a legend.